in this video, I'm going to feed your conspiracy theory bone just a little bit. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to call this the bottom of the market. If you're a conspiracy theory, you're going to jump on board with this idea of this is the bottom of the market, and we can start loading up on stocks right now. Now, why would I say that? We're still right in the mid-throes of this whole thing, and a lot of people, I'm going to be a real conspiracy theorist here. I'm not really. It's so hard to ignore some of these things that come out, and I'm going to show you why this conspiracy theory is what it is. And it's hard to ignore them because when things happen, you know, we always say correlation is not causation. But in this case, you have to ask yourself, what is the correlation or is it the causation of this particular price level in the stock market? Now, of course, we're talking about stocks in here in the S&P-500 and this massive drop with the coronavirus and where we're at right now. So this is the bulls and bears, and we get very few bullish buy signals on the bulls and bears throughout time. I mean, if you look, there's one that came in back here on October. Here's another, we got a couple more little ones in here, little bumps in here in January. So from October, November, December, January, it took us 3-4 months to get bulls and bears buy signals in here. And then, of course, we got the sell signal right on the big drop. We got, and it, you know, informed us, dump your positions. So we had a couple of those in here too, where the market was turning around. So bulls and bears, when it's set to this mode, is pretty good for these long-term trends on the S&P 500, and it told us to get out here, and we're waiting for it to tell us to get back in, right? We can still anticipate and look at what's going on. There's still some downside potential on this thing if we want to do our Fibonacci projections. Okay, I'm going to come in here and do a Fibonacci projection on this thing, and you can see, or an Elliott wave, I guess, X, 1, 2, 3. We're looking for a bounce 4, and then 5 would be down here, right? And I've mentioned that before. This would be bounce 5. And then we'd be seeing our little ABC, and that's where we'd start to see our rally once again out here in the future and anticipate that this market would then begin to climb back up out of here at this point, or even possibly if this is the bottom here at this point. I think this is the bottom. All right. If you're a conspiracy theory, you're a conspiracy theorist, you're going to jump on board with me and you're going to call that the bottom. You're going to start loading up on stocks. Okay. Why do we call that the bottom? See that gold line right there? I'm going to take you back in time, and we're going to go back in a time machine here, and we're going to drive all the way back. Look where the market came to. It came right to that price level, right? That price level right there is where this market stopped at, 228.02. Okay. So it came right down, touch that price, and it's starting to rally. Is it a psychological stop or is it a physical stop? I mean, is it really going to stop there? And this is why the conspiracy theories are flying around the internet like crazy. Let's come back here a little bit further. Look how close it came here. Didn't touch it, but it came close. It was like a warning. It's like, hey, we don't like what you're doing. We're going to come back here and give you a warning. And then the market took off again. And this time out here was a bigger warning. This is like, hey, we really don't like what you're doing. Boom, right down to that gold line. Now, what is that gold line? What is that gold line? Let's go back. Let's ask Siri. Hey, Siri, when did Donald Trump get elected?
Here's an answer from Wikipedia.org. The presidency of Donald Trump began at noon Eastern Standard Time on January 20th, 2017. When Donald Trump was inaugurated as the 45th President of the United States, succeeding Barack Obama.
What was that? January 20th, 2017. Let's go find January 20th, 2017. January 20th, 2017. January 20th, 2017. Oh, there it is. I have it marked on the chart. And it just so happens to be, get rid of that moving average. I don't want you to confuse that. The exact price the market hit at the bottom of the coronavirus fall. I mean, not off by 1 day. It came right down to Inauguration Day. Look at that. That crossover is the day President Trump was inaugurated. That gold line right there going out into the future, 2027-33, that is the current low of the coronavirus. Okay? Now, if that doesn't send shivers up your spine and make you say, what the heck? Then I don't know what will. All right, I just wanted to throw that out to you. as a conspiracy theory that you might want to take into consideration, even though you may not be a conspiracy theorist. Like me, I'm not. But, how do you ignore that in these markets? So anyway, the thing that I want to bring to your attention at this point is looking at other markets. If we come in here and take a look at some of these other markets, let's look at the this is the SVXY. This is a nice market. If you take a look at the SPY and you're like, wow, it's $238 and the options on this thing are a little bit big, they're a little bit expensive. I come out here and let's say I want to look at a 90-day option. If you look at a 90-day option on the S&P, you're going to see that they cost about $2,321 each at the money. Okay, and you're like, ooh, that's a little spendy, $2,300 with a fourth leg and a fifth leg looming, and this thing might drop. Why would I be buying call options right now? Because you're a part of the conspiracy theorists. You believe that that market came down, touched Donald Trump's number, his inauguration date, and now we're going to rally from here on out. This is another warning, shot across the bow to Donald Trump. We don't like what you're doing. Whatever. I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there, right? Okay, so we come in here, let's go to charts, and we can come down here to the SVXY, and the SVXY is basically the same thing. This is a ProShare Short VIX short-term futures ETF, okay? So this one here is only trading at 28.30, and it's almost exactly the same thing. Obviously, the volume's not nearly as high, but it's still pretty darn good, 16.9 million shares. I think you and I can get in and trade that pretty fairly. Let's come out here and look at a 90-day option on this one. And if we want to do 90 days on this market, they're only $375. So not nearly as expensive to get in. You can still play the same bounce off of this thing if you think that this market might be the bottom. Throw a couple $100 in there on an option. And look at the bulls and bears blue light. It looks like it wants to cross here relatively soon, so we get some rallies, maybe a little ABC in here. But this might be a good place to put on a 90-day option, just in case if you want to be a bottom buyer. All right? So that's just a quick rundown on today's latest conspiracy theory.